Hello, in this video we're going to take a look at the Kre-O USS Enterprise. This is a building block kit that's compatible with LEGO, by Kre-O as I said, and they are actually owned by Hasbro, and Hasbro also own Oxford. Quite complicated, but basically this is a good quality LEGO compatible product that's completely legal, and it's of my favourite sci-fi franchise, Star Trek. So this model contains only 432 pieces, which is quite small to be honest, but it looks like quite a big model. I think I'll explain why that's the case in a bit. This kit is actually sadly discontinued, and people are selling this on Amazon and eBay for between £100 and £200. I managed to get hold of this on eBay for £40, including another Klingon ship. So that works out about $60, so this was quite good value. Now there are a couple of problems with this, which I'll go on to explain as we go through the video. But firstly, it does look like the USS Enterprise. That is for sure. You can see the warp nacelles, the hull, the front bit here, the deflector dish, and the saucer section. And there are some quite nice details on this model, which I think you're really going to like. One of my kind of bugbears about LEGO designs in general is when they use really kind of specific molded plastic parts just to make a certain shape. What do I mean by that? Well, there's a little plastic deflector dish here. This is obviously a unique part designed for this kit, so it's not really going to be useful anywhere else. But by far the most kind of disappointing part about this model is the hull. This is mainly one great big plastic molded part, even including these warp engine struts here. So you don't really build the hull of this ship at all, which is, I have to say, cheating. Now, they've done this because actually there's some lighting in this model, which I'll show you in a minute, which is really cool, and that's all built inside this hull. So that's why they've done that. But yeah, and as a result, this kit is only 432 pieces. So it only really takes about an hour to build this because it's not a big kit at all. So if you paid £200 for this, you'd be really disappointed. So let's take a look at the different parts of it. So firstly, looking at the engineering hull, you can see that there are stickers on the side of it here, and then there are some other stickers on the model as well, which we'll show you as we go through it. At the front, obviously, you've got the deflector dish. You've also got this cannon thing. Unfortunately, I bought this off eBay and they've lost the little bullet that goes in there, and then you press these little side buttons here and it's meant to fly out. They've lost that. I don't know whether there's anything I could use to replace it. There are some sort of curved bricks that make up kind of half of the hull shape here. It is just mainly building on a huge, great plastic molded part. At the rear we've got these warp engine struts, and you go up to the warp nacelles, which are really nicely designed, and they look kind of, you know, like the Star Trek warp nacelles. They've also got NCC 1701 on the side, which is the identifier of the USS Enterprise. In case you're not that familiar with Star Trek, this is actually the Reboot franchise Enterprise. This is not the one that William Shatner's Kirk flies around. This is the new one with like Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto. You can see there are sort of plastic moulded parts on the engine buzzard scoop things at the front here, or bussard scoops, whatever they're called. And these clear plastic parts are important because actually there is a button on the bottom of the hull which lights them up. So if I press that, you can see that the warp nacelles and the deflector dish have lit up, which is really cool. So there are actually 3 modes you can activate with this button, but I find them really difficult to select. So if I press it once, they light up, as you can see. If you press it twice, now I don't know if that means you press it twice in quick succession or if I press it now, because if I press it now, they just seem to turn off and then turn on again. But if I press it twice, they're supposed to be maybe a little bit brighter. I don't know. Can't really tell the difference. If you press it 3 times, they're supposed to flicker. Here you go. You can see them flickering, which is, I guess, you know, it's under attack or something. And they don't really stay on either. They just sort of turn themselves off after a while. But, you know, it's a nice little toy, I suppose. And obviously in the hull bit here, there are some screws and there are obviously batteries in there. So the saucer section itself, and in fact the whole model doesn't look that good from underneath. The top of the saucer section, you've got the identifier again, NCC 1701 and USS Enterprise. You've also got what looks to be little navigation lights and things around the side, and they've quite successfully created this sort of domed saucer shape on the top of the Enterprise here, but again with lots and lots of plastic moulded parts. Now I should also say this model is supposed to come with 5 Kreons. Now a Kreon is basically Kre-O's like their version of minifigures, so it's meant to come with like Spock, Kirk, Uhura, Chekhov or something. Maybe Scotty, but it didn't come with those. It also didn't come with the instructions, but thankfully I was able to find a PDF of the instructions online. So thinking about it, maybe I did pay really the right price for it. But anyway, it means that if you can get hold of the bricks without the instructions, you won't have any trouble building it. So it's a shame it hasn't got the Kreons, because they're apparently really cool. People love those. And another reason it's a shame is because actually if you pry up the top of the bridge here, it actually reveals an interior of the Enterprise. And you can see that we've actually got this which folds up. This is their like view screen at the front. You've got the helm here at the front of the ship. You've got some little levers, although I don't really think there were gear sticks in the Enterprise. But anyway, you've got the captain's chair, you've got some sort of information panels, so you could put the little Kreons in there and play around with that, which I think is pretty cool. Anyway, I'm actually really surprised that I managed to get hold of this model, because I didn't think I was going to be able to, given the price of it, but I'm really pleased that I did. It was a really enjoyable build, even though it didn't take that long. As I said, it only took about an hour. I'll leave a link to it on eBay down below, but as I said, don't pay huge amounts for this, because you know, you can get it a bit cheaper. Don't just pay what these sort of greedy sellers are asking for it. Anyway, I've also reviewed a couple of very small Kre-O Star Trek kits, which I'll link to down below, and I'm going to review a small Kre-O Enterprise, so it'll be quite cool to see how that compares to this. I hope you enjoyed this video. Do give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Also subscribe if you like Star Trek, Lego, tech and all that. Thanks for watching, and I shall see you next time for another video.